Hi, me again. I'm going to do another AutoCAD one here today, and we're going to have a look at how we can do a title block and how we can make this title block dynamic so it can be either A3 or A4 or any paper size that you care to choose. Now what I've done here is I've quickly drawn up a title block which is a page layout. Now this is going to be exactly 297 by 210 high. But what I suggest you do is you make it slightly smaller than that. So I'm just coming out of 3D mode there. I suggest you make it slightly smaller than that because otherwise it won't be printed, this box around the edge, and the edge of your title frame will be outside of the printable area. The reason I've set mine up this size is because I'm going to print it in PDF, and so therefore PDF doesn't have a border around the outside, so I'm printing it as a PDF to send to people in either A3 or A2 or A4 so they can print it off themselves. Okay, how do we get started? Well, I've drawn this up originally. I can select everything on the screen here and turn this into a block. So that's what I'm going to do. I just go here, create block, title block, if I can type. Where do I want as my pick point? Well, I can specify a specific point on screen, or I can use a pick point, or I can just use the zeros down here. I'm going to say a pick point because I want my base point to be the lower left hand corner, so I'm just going to click down there. That's my base point. My block unit is dimensioned in millimeters, so that's good, and I'm now just going to delete this from my screen. I do want to open this in the block editor immediately afterwards, so I'll just click that checkbox and click OK. There we go, it's deleted from the screen and it's opened up in the block editor straight away. Now the reason I wanted to open it in the block editor straight away was just to add some parameters on here which have some actions. First thing I'm going to do is put a linear parameter which will be the distance across here going that way. Yeah. Now there's a few ways of doing this. I'm going to show you this way first and then I'll show you another way in a minute. So I've put a distance across there, and now I'm going to put an action, which is a stretch action, associated with this parameter and specifically with that point on the parameter. My stretch frame is going to be all of this area here, and my stretch frame is going to include all of those objects there. Now you'll notice that I've actually tried to include the parameters on the end as well, and all of these items in here including the logo. Yep, so that's all what's going to stretch. This will stay the same size and that vertical will stay where it is. Yep, as I stretch it out to A3. Okay, that's all the objects, so let's see how that works. I don't have to close it down now to test it. I can just test the block here. So I'll test the block, click to select, and I can click to stretch it to whatever I like. And I can just type in my dynamic input, I can type in number. So for example, I could type in the number to make that 297 stretch out to A3, which would be 420. Okay, I then obviously have to stretch the height as well to make it A3 height. Okay, so that's working fine. I'll shut down the test window. I now need to do the height on it, so I'll do the same process again. So I go to my linear parameter from there to there. This is distance 2. I now associate an action with it, which is a stretch action to that parameter, that point there. My stretch frame covers that there, and my stretch object. This time I just have to click on the line because that's the only thing in there. Okay, again, test the block, click on it to select it, and I can stretch my block vertically. Now this is great, but it's not what I want, because what I actually want to do is I want to have a lookup somewhere which defines exactly what my sizes are going to be. So I'm going into my lookup. I'm going to place the parameter right in the middle here. Yeah. I'm now going to put an action on here which is a lookup action. The parameter is going to be on the lookup here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in values such as A4 A4 landscape and A3 landscape as well. And then I'm going to add the properties, and the properties are my distance 1 and distance 2. Now distance 1, if you look down here, that's the horizontal distance across. So that starts off at 297, so I'm going to add the properties here. So for A4 landscape, it's going to be 297. For A3 landscape, it's going to be 420, which is obviously 210 doubled. Okay, I'm now going to add another property, which is my distance 2. And you see now I've got a second property down here, because where that is 297, this is 210, and where that is 420, this is 297. Okay, that's just the sizes of the paper. So when I specify A4 landscape, it sets those two distances to those there. When I specify A4 landscape, it sets those two there. Okay. Let's see how that works. So let's go test block, and you'll notice now when I select the block, I've still got these grips over here, so I can drag them out to a custom size if I so choose, but I can also now just say A4 landscape or A3 landscape, and it just automatically adjusts the size accordingly. You'll notice that the title block, the text, the boxes, everything down here, they haven't changed size, and that's exactly what I want. Okay. Close the block window, close the block editor, save the changes to the block, and let's have a look how we could use that. Let's go to layout 1. I'm just going to delete the viewport for now. And if I just insert my block, and that block is scale factor 1, so in it goes, perfectly fitted to my A4 piece of paper. However, if I go into layout 1, go into page setup manager and change it from A4, so if I change this from A4 to ISO A3, which is, you'll see there, 297 by 420, or in our case 420 by 297, which is the landscape. So that's 420 by 297. If I click OK, you'll see how my title block no longer fits on the page nicely, but all I can do is select the title block. I'll just move it so it snaps into the corner. Okay, but if I go into my title block using my drop down here, change it to A3 landscape, and it now perfectly fits the A3 landscape. Okay, I hope that's been useful. I'm the Adobe guy. Thank you for listening.